Mahomes looks to throw it. Pump faking, right side, he wants it. A comeback cut! It is caught by Kelsey! Touchdown! Kansas City! One of the greatest duos in the history of the National Football League!
Move over, guys, because it's about damn time for the queens to take their seat upon Chiefs Kingdom's throne.
6 consecutive AFC West titles. 7 consecutive years in the playoffs. 4 consecutive home AFC championship games. Join us on this ride to keep these streaks alive.
Chiefs Kingdom spirit is unyielding. Whether we're down 10 points in a Super Bowl with only 7 minutes left, or 3 points in a playoff game with only 13 seconds to go, our belief in our Chiefs never wavers.
While Patrick Mahomes is the king of Kansas City, over here in the UK, it's the Queen that reigns supreme. We are the Kingdom's Queens.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Kingdom's Queens podcast. We are your hosts. I am Lexi.
I'm Chrissy.
And I'm Jodi.
What a start we are off to with this team. I am so excited.
Yes, impressive.
So much.
All right, well, let's just jump right into it. Y'all ready to talk about week 1 NFL? Big Red.
Yes.
Big Red.
Never count him out. Come on.
Yeah.
Right. So are we ready to just jump in and talk about week 1 NFL?
Let's do
Yeah,
it.
let's do
We're
it.
live.
So I really want to talk just real quickly about the Pittsburgh-Cincinnati game. I mean, I don't really believe in either team just yet. I don't feel like I feel like when you're Pittsburgh, and no offense to Pittsburgh fans, but I don't think you should be proud of that win. I mean, Cincinnati had 5 turnovers and you barely squeaked out a win with a field goal at the last second. So both of those teams I have a hard time believing in, because I just thought they both, like, it was just kind of a pathetic game. I feel kind of bad saying that. It was just, I was expecting so much more from that game, you know? And then the Tampa Bay Dallas game, thoughts and prayers to all Dak owners, including myself in fantasy football.
Me.
It's very depressing.
We all are.
And you know what? Tampa Bay, I mean, some people are really high on how they looked. I wasn't impressed by either team. I also have Zeke in fantasy, so that was depressing too. But
Yes.
yeah, I don't know. I wasn't impressed by either of those teams either. I feel like it was kind of a dismal performance by each team, and Tom Brady's stats were not good. And considering all the drama of the offseason, that I'm not super shocked about that. So I'm hoping to see some more impressive games this coming week. What about you guys?
Sure. So for me, the Bills-Rams game was insane.
Yeah.
Jalen let me be nice. I was about to say something rude. Ramsey was awful. Oh my God. He got cooked. I'm praying for his rest of the season. He did not look good at all. Stephon Diggs was all over him, who I'm recently obsessed with, but don't tell anybody. That game was just super rough. I mean, they had 3 interceptions. However, Von Miller went crazy. It was great to see him kind of just step and roll immediately and take over. I'm still a little confused about the triangle on the back of his head.
Yeah.
Maybe
it looks like a Trivial Pursuit piece.
Sure. Anyway, I'm really confused about it. And if that's what, makes him play the way he did, then hey, I support it. A triangle every week.
Yeah.
If we want to support that. I'm surprised. I thought he was going to look a little more washed than he did, but he did not. So
He looked good.
Yeah, he did. He looked really good.
Maybe he was worth that contract. We'll find out. I want to talk about the Packers and Vikings game a little bit. That was a little bit rough. I was told, that Patrick Mahomes wasn't going to be very good without Tyreek Hill, but there wasn't a lot of questioning on Aaron Rodgers' part. There was there.
No.
At all. So I just want to say, I know they have hardly anyone Alan Lazard was out. Sammy Watkins hardly did a thing. I don't really know what happened there. I thought maybe he would do something for them. But that was crazy. But I do actually remember last season, Aaron Rodgers started out the same exact way.
Yeah.
It was a blowout.
So again, I'm not going to count him out completely, but that was not great. That was not a great start. So.
I would like to just say that I called the Vikings upset. So I called that last week.
You posted. I'll take L on that. And then I also want to talk about the Bears and the 49ers a bit. I said the 49ers would win. I think we all had them winning. And I'm proud of the Bears. Good job. I mean, I know they were playing in a literal monsoon. There was a guy eating popcorn that was just like flooded.
That was crazy. Yeah.
But I thought Justin Fields actually looked pretty decent for what conditions he was playing in, and he looked better than Trey Lance. So there's that. And but
those are just hard conditions to play in. Like it's hard to throw the ball in those conditions, and running the football, you got to worry about fumbling because of how wet and slippery. I mean, those are just tough. I mean, can you imagine week 1 and you're playing in a literal monsoon? Like that's tough.
That sucks. I'm excited to see what he does this week, though. So I know, it's really hard to judge last week, but we'll see what he does this week.
And I think we all love a bad weather game, but it's rough.
Yeah, week 2 seems to be kind of a redemption week, like for a lot of those teams. Week 1 who didn't have their best game, week 2 seems to be like, hey guys, this is a week to redeem ourselves and show who we're actually, like the team we actually are. So I'm excited for week 2.
And I want to say real quick, I think the Texans and Jags could be better than we think they will be this season.
Oh, for sure.
So that's something to keep an eye out for.
Yeah.
Because we play all of those teams.
Yeah.
Right. I think the game that was the most shocking for probably every single NFL fan was the Broncos-Seahawks game last night. That was real interesting. Russ did not cook.
No, they said, hey, let's hide.
Broncos
country.
Let's hide. No, but I'm just really impressed with Geno Smith. Like, I have Dak in 2 leagues. I was trying to drop him and go get him, and then all of a sudden Geno Smith was gone when I woke up this morning. And I'm like, really, y'all woke up early on fantasy and dropped Dak and y'all went and got Geno Smith? No, he was like extremely impressive yesterday. I also just can't get past like the goal stand. Like, how do you fumble twice at the goal line on the one? Like, talk about very high levels of anxiety. What? Yeah. In the world? So, yeah.
And the coaching decisions in the last minute plus of that game were just, I mean, you wasted 40 seconds on the clock, and then you this quarterback that you're paying $250 million to, and you would trust your kicker to hit a 64-yard field goal instead of your $250 million quarterback. It just did not compute to me. I'm like, I don't know. I watched some of the Manning cast, and you just see Peyton Manning, and he's like, come on, like, call the timeout. Like, what are you doing? And you could see him growing visibly frustrated, and I was like, Peyton is all of us. Like, what were they doing?
Yeah.
Crazy.
It was rough. It was rough. So
I just want to say I actually predicted the upset on that one.
You did.
You did.
I had a feeling, I had a feeling.
And it was wonderful. What a wonderful upset.
I know. It woke me up. I was sleepy. It woke me up out of my sleep. I was like, all right, let's go. Let's go Seahawks. So yeah.
That's the best part about football, is being invested in these other games, because you want to see your opponents like losing badly. So.
You think that's the best part? I think it's the worst part.
One of the very many best parts of football.
Like, my blood pressure is so high. Oh my God.
Through the roof.
We're having many heart attacks every week. It's fine. But before we jump into the Chiefs recap, because that's obviously what we're all here for and what we're all dying to talk about, because it's really hard to like find anything super wrong with that game. So, but before we jump into that, I want to get our girl Shelley on here. A little surprise for us this week. So let's put her on. Here we go, Shelley.
Hi Chiefs Kingdom, it's me Shelley, back with you from the UK for my thoughts on week 1. Well, what a time to be a Chiefs fan. This week's game against the Cardinals was a joy to watch. unless you're a Cardinals fan or we're trying to watch on CBS. Yeah, sorry about that. But from minute one, the Chiefs dominated, with Patrick Mahomes picking apart the Cardinals' defense to score not 1, not 2, but 5 touchdowns. The first touchdown came from none other than Travis Kelce just 6 minutes into the first quarter. CEH then went on to score a further 2 touchdowns, and Patrick Mahomes even threw a little sass the Cardinals' way after his 4th touchdown. We love to see it. We also got to see none other than our rookie Pacheco score his first NFL touchdown. It was also great to see Marquez Valdes-Scantling on the field, gelling with the offense and really making his presence known. Speaking of MVS, I think we've got to talk about that Packers game. What was going on? I mean, I am all for protecting your guys in the off-season. But the Packers, they weren't gelling. The commentators were talking about A-Rod not having his trust in his team just yet, compared to the Chiefs, who looked like a well-oiled machine. And I can't help but think it was playing our starters, albeit briefly, during the preseason that has allowed our team to come out looking like this. My question is, after week 1, when gelling with your team should have been part of your game plan, when will Aaron Rodgers have that faith in his team? So, in a week where Patrick Mahomes threw 5 touchdowns, 360 yards and 30 for 39 passes, and the Bills' Josh Allen threw 2 interceptions and is still being rated more highly than Patrick Mahomes, I think the disrespect on the Chiefs is only encouraging Patrick Mahomes to be better. So, this week is a 1 a.m. UK kickoff for the Chiefs and the Chargers. And I really rate Justin Herbert. But if the Chiefs locker room is anything to go by, you know that we got the dubs here. So I'm going to call it 28-21 to the Chiefs. Thank you so much for listening. I really cannot wait to hand you back to the other Kingdom Queens. But make sure you join in next week at 7 p.m. Central Time on Tuesday, where I will be joining you guys live. Cannot wait. So have a really great week, everybody. And until next Tuesday, how about those Chiefs? Hi, Chiefs Kingdom. It's me, Shelley, back with you.
How about those Chiefs? She is right.
Yes. Woo.
I love it. So I think Shelley pretty much kicked us off. So what are your thoughts of the Chiefs game for last week?
Oh gosh, man, at the very beginning of the game, I was sitting with my mom and we were watching and we're like, man, this anxiety, like I forgot how anxious we get towards the, at the game. And we started doing really well. Our defense took them 3 and out and our offense was just on fire. And, this was a nice first game for our hearts and our, blood pressure to ease into because of the way it turned out. Because we literally looked, and I know it's week 1, so I'm not trying to have an overreaction, but we looked unstoppable, man. Like, I could get used to that. And I know we've got a really tough schedule, but seeing our defense, if this is what they look like before they're going to gel, like, sign me up. I will have seconds and thirds and fourths. Like, please, just feed me all of that because, wow, like, I was not expecting our defense to look as good as they did. Especially with all those rookies. So that was really, really exciting for me. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I'm super biased. I think our game was the best. Well, no, I think our game was I think our game was the best game of last week. I mean, that Broncos Seahawks game came damn close. But I think our game was the best one of last week. And I totally agree with you, Chrissy. I was thrilled about these rookies. I mean, Sky Moore, George Karlaftis, Pacheco. Like, I was like, oh my goodness. Like, I felt like they were my children. I was like, oh my,
I know.
I'm just so proud. But no, like, I think there were a lot of things that happened during that game that kind of reminded us, like, we are who we are. Like, Nick Bolton is still that guy. He's going to be that guy this season. Super excited about him. I mean, Pat spread the ball all the way around, like all the way around. Like, you get a catch, and you get a catch, and you get a catch. Like, it was insane. What about you, Lexi?
I agree. I think we've just been waiting. We've endured a whole off season, and we forgot to mention Tyreek Hill earlier, but we endured a whole off season of trash talk and how Mahomes would be terrible without him. And we all knew that wasn't going to be the case, but we had to wait for week 1 for that to be proven true. Because as we know, people love to troll online.
Yes.
And it was proven true, and I'm not surprised, but I'm very happy about it. They literally, like Shelley said, they looked like a well-oiled machine. There was nothing too crazy. Every bit of our offense and defense flowed very well. I think George, Mike Dana, and Chris Jones.
Yeah.
They had like the most pressures of anyone.
Yeah.
Wasn't that cool to see
Like,
that graphic? They were at the top of the
Our D-line? Like,
Well, especially with all of the like health things going on with Frank, like I'm so glad that, you know, he proved to not only himself, but Chiefs Kingdom, like, y'all, I am here for the long run. Like, I'm not going anywhere. I'm ready to show up. Like, he turned it up in the offseason to make sure he could be ready for what this team needed this year. And it was so great to see the way he showed up for us on Sundays. Can we please not forget that Justin Reed is that man?
Yes.
Oh my God. I was listening to a podcast earlier today and they were like, I just hope Brett Veach knows that that needs to be in his contract for next year too, that he's also our kicker. And I was like, oh my God, I totally agree 100%.
I was actually listening to Pat McAfee today, and he went on about the Chiefs. He doesn't even talk much about the Chiefs. He went on about us for a good while, and especially about Justin Reed. And I think that speaks a lot to what he did and what he's capable of and his athleticism. And he just cool, calm, and collected, went in, did his thing. And I know I said I had that dream like 3 days before the game that Harrison Butker was going to go out. And then sure enough.
You did.
Sure enough, Justin Reed had to go in and be the guy.
Oh my God, you
I
did.
can't believe I had that dream, but it came true.
Actually, never go to sleep again.
Never sleeping again.
You're not
why would you dream that, Corey? I mean, Lexi.
Corey.
I'm like, Lexi, I'm sorry. I was reading in the comments. My bad. I'm sorry. I think go ahead.
Oh, I just want to say real quick 2 things. Super proud of Harrison Butker for stepping in and kicking a 54-yarder with 1 step. Like, that is insane.
Impressive.
But also, I don't know about you guys, but I jumped out of my seat, yelled like crazy when Jodi Fortson caught his touchdown. Love Jodi Fortson. I love seeing him come back from that Achilles injury and catching touchdowns and being that secret weapon that teams aren't going to think about. And I just love it. So,
and can we
that's my last
about too, our running back room. Clyde and Pacheco. You know, I've been high on Pacheco. You know, I have not hated on Clyde. And those two as just a duo right there. And then not to mention McKinnon, who just does whatever he's asked. Like, what I really like about them as a trio, and then I don't know what Ronald Jones is going to bring quite yet, but what I like about them as a trio is they are team players. They are not there to stat pad. They are not there looking out for themselves, which I kind of feel like happened with Tyreek last season because I saw him make some comments. They are there to play their role, win these games, and they looked the part. All 3 of them played very well. They were blocking. They were making extra plays. They got touched. I mean, they looked so good. So I'm very excited about them and to see what they can do this season.
Yeah. They averaged 5 to 6 yards a carry.
And I'm the one who's been very tough on CEH. So immediately, like after that first drive, I was like, okay, all right, CEH. Like, I'm not going to say I'm on the bandwagon train yet, but I was very, very, very impressed with what I saw from him. So
his vision looked a lot better. Even that very first run, I think it was like he was just out there.
Yes,
he looked great. I was 100%. Very pleased.
And I think like it's kind of important to talk about. A lot of people are talking about like how disappointed they are in like Juju and McCole, and I think that's the last thing that I am. Like, I think they both played their roles exactly to what they were supposed to be. We already know that McColl's supposed to come in and be that gadget guy. So I think he did exactly what he was supposed to do. So I'm excited to see like what it is they do and how they use these people next week, because, you know, I feel like previously Juju might have been like discouraged, but right after the game, he was tweeting and he accepted it. He owned up to it and he's like, let's get back to work. Like, I'm ready for next week. So that was just something that was very good to see from my end, because, you know, Juju's new to us. So I don't know like how he feels and all of that. So I'm glad that he was super confident still, even after the drop.
Yeah, agreed.
I think, and you know, that was just a really good play by that defender, honestly.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
He punched it perfectly.
Absolutely.
So I'm not really faulting Juju for that. And I mean, he still he almost got, what did he have? Like 80 yards, I think?
76.
Yeah.
76, yeah. So he made some good plays. I hope he gets his touchdown this week. That's what I hope for Juju.
Yeah, for sure.
In front of Chiefs Kingdom. Can you imagine how crazy Arrowhead will go when Juju gets his touchdown on Thursday?
Yes. And I think before we pivot, the last thing I want to say is I think Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce had to literally remind the league that they are still that duo. I think that's why they came out of the gate with them.
Yeah.
And then Trav. So, I mean, I know it got me fired up. I jumped up off my couch and I was super excited. So I just hope they continue to make that imprint this entire season. Like, yeah, Tyreek is gone, but this is still the number one duo. Like, don't get it twisted. We're not going anywhere. Uh-oh, Lexi's about to say something.
Well,
her face.
I did my touchdown prediction before the game, and I was like, that was stupid of me not to think that they weren't going to want to go out there and remind everyone who they are. Like,
yep.
That's exactly what they did. I was like, maybe Jodi, maybe MVS, but no, like, they were like, no, we are still here. We are still the best duo. And that was a beautiful thing to see.
It was.
Yes, it was awesome.
All right, so let's get into it. It's week 2, Arrowhead, I guess GEHA field, whatever the people call it. Arrowhead, Thursday night football, under the lights.
It's going to be a big game. Big game.
All right. How are y'all feeling? What are y'all thinking?
Well, you know, Herbert had a good showing against the Raiders. I mean, he threw for almost 300 yards and he had 3 touchdowns. So this is going to be a really big test for our defense. And I know with Keenan Allen most likely being out, that's helpful. But I feel like he and Trent Duffy, like they kind of, it cancels out a little bit. That's a huge bummer about him. But I want to see how big of an impact like Khalil Mack's going to be or Bosa and seeing if our O-line, who I feel like let Mahomes get hit a little too much last, on Sunday. Sure. I felt like Mahomes just got hit too much. And when you're coming up against Khalil Mack, who I think recorded 3 sacks of his own at their game against the Raiders, like I just want to see our O-line really hold up to their pressure. I'm not worried about our offense at all. I just want Mahomes to not get hit as much, please.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, Chargers division game. That every single time we play them, it is something dramatic. Yes. So I'm expecting for something to kind of like blow us out of the water this week. Whether it's, I think it'll come from both sides of the ball too. I think it'll be the Chargers and the Chiefs. I think they're both going to do something that's going to make us be like, oh my God, you know what I mean? So I'm definitely excited to see what Thursday is like in Arrowhead. I don't even want to talk about last year and what happened on that first game, but I definitely think this is a redemption game for us, and we just have to bounce back from what it is we went through last year. So I'm excited for Thursday night football here, and
yeah, and Jodi and I are going to the game, so we're going to be extra loud. We're going to be extra loud. It's going to be a blast.
Yeah, I better hear you from my living room.
You will.
You will. I will say though, I'm really happy to see though when Patrick was at the podium today, he didn't have that wrist brace on. So, it's really good to see that he is healthy and that they did take that extra precaution and make sure that, he's doing okay. If he feels like he doesn't need it, I trust him. I mean, I know that our quarterback is very much stubborn, but if he feels like he doesn't need it and he can go out there and still play the game that he plays, yes.
Yeah. And not to mention, the last 2 times the Chargers have come to Arrowhead, they have walked out with a victory. Now, granted, one of them was when we had already clinched the 1 seed, so our starters didn't play, or maybe it was a 2 seed, I can't remember, but we had already clinched a bye. But still, I feel like, I know Patrick brought that up in his presser today. I think that's left a little bit of a sour taste in their mouth, and they're going to be coming out firing and ready to go.
Yeah.
They absolutely are. And it was a bummer to hear about the Cardinals field being so, like, the turf not being very good.
Yeah.
Yes. Which I wouldn't have thought, being a newer stadium. So
and the first week, like, how is your turf in such, you know, if Andy Reid is bringing up multiple times in his presser, like, it's an issue.
Yeah.
Because Andy Reid is pretty coy. He doesn't usually say a lot. And so for him to say that, I'm like, it must have been pretty bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
I am definitely bummed out that we won't have McDuffie, but I do feel good about our depth at corner in our secondary right now. So
yeah.
And I think this team they're gonna come out with a vengeance. We have so many rookies that haven't experienced Arrowhead like this, and they are gonna be fired up and ready. So like George, he's gonna get his first full sack. Actually, I forgot to even mention, someone said in the comments as well, Dunlap, he had a sack last week too.
Yeah,
so
yes, he did.
all the steps we have, I am thrilled, and I think they're going to make a difference. And yeah, I hope to see Juju get hit more of his this week. Same with McCole as well. I hope they both. But I think they all look promising. So.
And don't forget, I mean, we got the 1960 retro end zones this week.
Yeah.
So I know it makes me excited. I can't wait. I'm like, how do I get on the field and get a picture? Without going to jail. Like, how do I do this without going to jail? So, okay, well, I know we're going to talk about predictions a little bit later, but every week we already decided we're going to talk about some division, right? We're going to rank them on what we think they're going to do this season. And this week we're going with the AFC North. So who wants to go first?
I'll go. This one was tough.
It was.
Because I don't believe, I don't know. I don't believe that any of the teams really showcased who they were in week 1. So this is probably going to be totally wrong. But I went with Cincinnati just because I feel like I have to get them the benefit of the doubt until, you know, we're further out. Then Pittsburgh, then Baltimore, then Cleveland. So
okay,
that it's probably totally opposite of what everyone else is doing. It was a toss up for me, honestly. Like I could have just thrown confetti in the air with 4 names and let it land, and that's probably would have been just as accurate as this. So yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. What about you guys?
They are a huge toss up for me. I had the same issue. I think we all did. Yeah. I want to give it to the Ravens right now based on week 1 because Joe Burrow, what in the heck happened?
That was
it made me really happy.
One thing I want to say is everyone talks about this Super Bowl hangover. I want to point out that Mahomes never had that after either Super Bowl he went to. He came back firing. He won both games. So I think that's a bit of an excuse. But I'm going to go ahead and give it to the Ravens.
Okay.
Right now. I think they have some underrated receivers that are going to stand out eventually. I think Lamar Jackson's going to do his thing. He wants to be paid. I think they have a good defense. I think they're going to be a good team. I'm going to go Ravens, Cincinnati Bengals, Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Browns because the Browns, they have a great defense, pretty good run game, but like I don't know the quarterback thing is kind of up in the air for me. So and Steelers looked better, and we should not count.
Not counting them out at all.
And Mike Tomlin's like an Andy Reid to me. Like he's very, you got to trust their coaching. So
I mean, if you're going to get your entire team custom made black Air Force Ones,
I saw that. That was funny.
I'm like, okay, but no, Lexi, I think you literally went in my brain and literally took my exact order because that's the same way I think too. I think the Ravens are going to win the division. And I really struggled between 2 and 3. I went back and forth for a little bit on it, but I went Ravens, Bengals, Steelers, Browns. And I totally agree. Like Lamar Jackson, he deserves his money. I think he's going to have a great season and get paid as long as he can stay healthy. Totally agree about the Browns defense. But, I expect to see something else from Joey Burrow because he was not impressive at all. And yeah, like I would love to see the Steelers actually take the number 2 seed and maybe get a wild card. I would love that. But yeah, I don't know. I think I need to see a couple more weeks of football to determine how that division is going to go because it's definitely up in the air.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. Well, all right. Our favorite segment. Game picks for this week. So let's start with Dolphins Ravens. It's noon on Sunday. I take the Ravens. Who do you take?
I take the Ravens.
I'm going to take the Dolphins with the upset.
Oh.
I'm going to take them. I don't want to take either of them, but I'm going to take the Dolphins with the upset.
Literally take another team. I mean, pick another upset. Any team.
Why the God be that one? Lexi?
Right. Oh my goodness. Okay, so
I think it's going to be really close though, and I think it's going to come down to like the wire on that one.
Yeah, it might come down to a field goal.
Yeah, I think so.
I would love a tie.
Right?
We already had our first tie of the season, so there's that. Okay, next game, Bucks Saints at noon in New Orleans.
I took New Orleans. I feel like they're feeling pumped up. Yeah.
Tyrann Mathieu. I went Saints. I'm like, I know he's no longer a Chief, but I love him. I have so much respect for him and his family. And, this is his first game back home in a sense. So I'm excited to see what they do. Lexi, did you say Saints?
I fell asleep.
Yeah. Okay. I'm like, I fell asleep.
Are we boring you, Jodi? Jeez.
I know. I'm sorry. I fell asleep.
We have a few Dolphins fans in here, so that's funny to me.
Okay, next game, in our division, Cardinals, Raiders, 3:25 in Vegas.
I'm going with the Cardinals.
Ooh.
I know. I feel like the Raiders were a hot mess, and I really feel like Arizona is going to want to make a major comeback and prove that they are not the team that got annihilated by the Chiefs. But I also don't like the Raiders, and I don't feel like I can pick them. So, my bad. Go Cardinals.
We switch up really quick.
Yeah.
Boo Cardinals last week. Go Cardinals this week. This is a hard one for me because they both played very sloppy last week.
Yeah.
Derek Carr and Devontae did not look like them.
They did not.
I feel like both teams are going to be out on a mission this week.
Yeah.
But I'm with you, Chrissy. I'm going to go Cardinals. I think they have a lot to prove. I think Kyler is a better quarterback than Derek Carr.
Oh, for sure. 100%.
And both of their defenses are pretty similar, actually, with how well they're doing, I think. So I'm going to go Cardinals.
I'm going Raiders. I think the Raiders win at home. I think the Raiders win at home. And then I think, I'm going Raiders. I hate to say it, but I am. Okay, next game. Bears, Packers, Sunday Night Football in Green Bay.
This one was tough for me because I was impressed with the Bears this last week, but I feel like it's at Lambeau. The Packers got embarrassed by the Vikings this week.
Yes.
And so I feel like they're going to come out and like they did last year where they got annihilated the first week and they came out the second week rolling. I feel like it's going to be the Packers.
I agree.
I agree. I'm going Packers. Even though I want to say Bears could upset, I don't have quite enough faith in them for the Packers opening night home game.
Right.
Unless it's another torrential downpour the entire game. Even then, I think Aaron Rodgers is still going to go off. So I agree. I have Packers winning that. And then the last game, Monday Night Football, Vikings-Eagles, which is going to be really good.
That one, it's at Minnesota, right?
It's in Philly.
Oh, it's in Philly. Oh, yes, I have that written down. So I put Minnesota, and I don't fully know why. It's just a gut feeling. they just look like they're gelling really well, that team. And I know Philadelphia, they looked really good as well. They had a really high scoring game coming off of their win against Detroit 38-35. So I don't know why I feel like I'm choosing the underdog in this because it's an away game for them. But my gut's telling me Minnesota, but I couldn't tell you why.
You think Minnesota's the underdog?
Well, just because they are playing at Philly.
Yeah.
I consider
Monday night football. Yeah.
I feel like it's like I feel like they're pretty even, and so I feel like I want to give the edge to the home team, which is why I would consider them maybe the underdog. But I mean, maybe underdog's not even the right word because I do feel like they're pretty even match teams. I think it's going to be a great matchup.
Absolutely.
Equal dogs.
Yeah, equal dogs.
The only problem I have with that is because Kirk Cousins tends to panic on prime time.
Yeah.
But
we'll see.
He's on a mission this year too.
So he's on a mission. Yeah.
What was your pick, Lexi?
So my pick for that one is going to also be the Vikings, but that is also because of based on what I saw last week from the Eagles defense.
Yeah.
They let up a lot of points to the Lions. And the Vikings have Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen and Dalvin Cook.
Absolutely.
And Kirk Cousins really isn't that bad.
No.
So I'm going to go Vikings.
The Vikings are my pick too. I agree. I think the Vikings are going to go there and ball out. I mean, I love Jalen, but I definitely think the Vikings are going to go there and ball out. So, okay, those are our top 5 picks for this week. I think it's time to get back to the most important and best team in the NFL. Sorry for all of you guys in the comments who are not Chiefs fans. So, Chiefs Chargers. What's your score prediction for this week?
Oh, I mean, my score prediction is 35-31 Chiefs. I think it's going to be high scoring. I think it's going to be close. I think we're all going to be super stressed out watching, but I think we're going to win.
Mine's pretty similar. I'm going 36-30.
Nice.
But yes, I think it's going to be a very close game.
Yeah.
Yep, same. I'm going 31-27. So I'm excited to see what happens in Arrowhead. I mean, I would not be upset if we put up another 44, like at all, like by any means. So
me either.
Hey, we could have put up 60 against the Cardinals if we left our starters in. So
right.
Just saying.
That's the thing too. Everyone wants to hate on Mahomes for quote unquote stat padding. That was the craziest thing I saw after that game. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me.
He only came out in the middle of the fourth quarter to rest.
Right.
Call it what you want it.
Padding.
Well, I'm so glad we all have us taking the Chiefs for the win.
Yeah.
Excited for Thursday night football with you ladies.
Yes. It's going to be huge. And I think, you know what? I think we have Len on our side for this one, Lenny.
Yeah.
And I think this one goes out to him, and I think we're getting the dub. I think that's how it's going to
go. 100%.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Well,
I think it's going to be really cool what we have set up as well, like with the field and
yes.
Sounds like a big national anthem thing will be happening on the field before and
rally towels. I was like, oh snap. Rally towels for this week.
Yes.
Yeah, a big playoff field.
We got to get there early enough.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, everybody, we're so glad that you guys could join us today. We want to thank you so much for all of your support. Everybody's been so great over the last week since we launched. If you want to know how to support us, please visit our Twitter page at Kingdoms Queens on Twitter and like and follow and retweet everything that we put out there. As always, you can watch us live stream every Tuesday at 7 o'clock Central Time on Starcade Media's Facebook, on their Twitter, on YouTube, on our Twitters. And please subscribe to us on Apple and Spotify. We didn't know about that last week and we were all super excited about it. So that's really awesome. We also want to wish big happy birthdays to Trent McDuffie. Please feel better soon. And also to the king of Chiefs Kingdom, Patrick Mahomes. Happy birthday. And for those of you who are heading out to Arrowhead on Thursday, please drive safely, have so much fun, and of course, get loud. I mean, I want to feel my house shaking like there's an earthquake loud back here in Lee Summit. So we will see you guys next week. And until then, the queens have spoken.